Hi, this is Brad Constantine, and this is a podcast recording of the Old Testament. Although this is not an official recording of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, every effort's been made to be as doctrinally accurate as possible. I'll be using for the text the Joseph Smith translation of the Old Testament, along with many commentaries from general authorities of the Church, BYU professors, Bible scholars, and others. This format will be very detailed, and so if you want a deep analysis of the Old Testament, you come to the right place. Thanks for your attendance. Hi, and welcome back to the Old Testament podcast. This will be for 1 Samuel chapter 5. And the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. Dagon was one of the gods of the Philistines. Since the Philistines believed that Dagon had given them victory over Israel, the ark was brought into Dagon's temple and deposited at his feet as a war trophy. And when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. And they took Dagon and set him in his place again. And when they arose early on the morrow morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord, and the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold, only the stump of Dagon was left to him. Therefore neither the priests of Dagon nor any that came into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod unto this day. But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them, and smote them with emerods, or tumors, or boils, even Ashdod and the coasts thereof. Because the word translated emerod means an inflamed tumor, many have assumed that the Philistines were smitten with hemorrhoids and thus were motivated to send the ark back to Israel. That would certainly do it, wouldn't it? The description of the effects of the emerods on the Philistines suggests something far more serious than hemorrhoids. However, although that ailment can be very painful, many died, and those who did not seem to have endured great suffering. Josephus indicated that it was a very destructive disease involving dysentery, bleeding, and severe vomiting. Josephus also mentioned a great plague of mice that accompanied the disease, although no direct mention is made of the plague of rodents. When the Philistines sought to placate Jehovah's wrath upon them by returning the ark, they sent 5 golden emerods and 5 golden mice as well. The severity of the disease and the fact that rodents were involved led many scholars to conclude that what smote the Philistines was bubonic plague. Bubonic plague gets its name from the buboes. Is that right? Is that a correct word? Buboes, or tumorous swellings in the lymph glands. These tumors settle particularly in the area of the groin. This fact would explain the secret parts mentioned in 1 Samuel 5. It is well known that rats and mice are the main carriers of this disease, for the fleas that transmit the disease to man live on rodents. The disease is accompanied by great suffering and pain, and the fatality rate may run as high as 70% in a week's time. Small wonder that the Philistines were anxious to return the ark to Israel. The ancient Philistines were very superstitious. They, like many others during the world's history, believed that an image made to represent an actual object might be used to ward off evil powers. Such appears to have been their thinking in making golden images of the emerods and the mice and sending them as a trespass offering with the ark back to Israelite territory. That was out of the Institute Manual. Verse 7, And when the men of Ashdod saw that it was so, they said, The ark of God, of the God of Israel, shall not abide with us, for his hand is sore upon us, and upon Dagon our God. They sent therefore and gathered all the lords of the Philistines unto them, and said, What shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel? And they answered, Let the ark of the God of Israel be carried about unto Gath. And they carried the ark of the covenant of Israel, or the ark of God of Israel, about thither. And it was so, that after they had carried it about, the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction, and he smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had emerods in their secret parts. Therefore they sent the ark of God to Ekron, and it came to pass as the ark of God came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, They have brought about the ark of the God of Israel to us to slay us and our people. So they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines, and said, Send away the ark of the God of Israel, and let it go again to his own place, that it slay us not and our people, for there was a deadly destruction throughout all the city. The hand of God was very heavy there. And the men that died were not And the men that died not were smitten with the emerods, and the cry of the city went up to heaven. Boy, what a miserable experience. Anyway, that's the end of chapter 5, and we'll see you next time. Bye.